Legionnaires of the Lariat, welcome back to another episode of I Still Call It a Lariat. Today we are reviewing Saturday night's main event. Speaking of that nostalgia, looking at my tag team partner, as always, the one, the only, Steven Zapf. Steven, how are we doing today?
Oh man, I love it, man. I'm happy. I love Saturday night's main event. This is a big show. This was a big card. Saturday night's main event always has a special place in my heart. You and I were both kind of poor kids in New Jersey, so we couldn't always afford pay-per-views. Could always afford Saturday night's main event. And it was on a Saturday as opposed to the old pay-per-views being on Sunday where no one could stop us from staying up late for this one.
Try and stop me. Give me 5 well-built matches in 2 hours. Literally zero BS in the middle of it all. Looking at the way they built these matches up, each one of them could be main event caliber matches on any given Raw or PLE as we move forward. This was built fantastically. Great pace. If every single PLE was built this exact way, I'd be a much happier boy. 2 hours instead of 3 hours for the same amount of matches. Yes, every single time. It really hit me in all my nostalgia feels as well. Sprinkling in a little bit of Jesse Ventura, who I feel like has the same tone and personality as I do to a certain degree. Minus, I don't know if I could pull off Damien over my shoulders. And the synthesizer music was on point the whole time. Chef's kiss. Steven, what was your favorite part of this card?
Of the actual card or of the show?
Everything.
I like the throwback stuff, man. I like that they set up the old school entranceway.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that. Actually, the one thing that I did notice that I really did like is that they used the old school guardrails. I kind of like that they didn't have the big black guardrails. They used just the normal bike rack looking guardrails. I thought that was actually kind of a nice little touch to it. And that even the ring was set up old school. They used the old red, white, and blue ropes. They had the old WWF symbol on the turnbuckle pads.
Without the F?
Without the F.
I did notice that.
So that was kind of cool. And I'm sorry, Jesse Ventura can do no wrong for me at this point. That man says things even when it has stuff to do with politics that I'm like, I just feel like you're not wrong, man. I just feel like you're not wrong.
I think he got off to just a little bit of a slow start. It's been forever and a day since he's been on commentary. But once he kind of got the juices moving, he loosened up, knocked off the mic rust. It's not necessarily ring rust, but the mic rust. He was just cruising along. He was fantastic. Really telling everybody matter of factly what's going on here, rather than listening to those biased people like a Mr. Michael Cole.
Cole.
Really enjoyed that. I loved how there's a lot of definitive wins in this. There wasn't a lot of outside interference. There wasn't a lot of shenanigans happening around it. Even like this, we'll talk about it more, but like even Piper Niven coming down with Chelsea had like an old school manager feel to it. And maybe that's just the way they walk to the ring. Give me 30-second entrances any day of the week. Because that's what they were they were ready to get to the ring and they were ready to go. I think that the build-ups to a lot of these matches was fantastic. Everyone had a storyline so well crafted that they didn't need to spend time reminding everybody. Specifically, which I thought was a little weird because specifically this was their way to introducing it to a new audience. They had a nice little package that kind of gave a little bit of insight into what this match was, but they really didn't waste time catching people up. They were like, this is all about the wrestling. It's all about giving you real solid matches. And I appreciate that more than anything else. They may have kicked it off with the best match of the night. There's a lot, like, from start to finish, I don't think there was a single bad match on this card. Like, this is fantastic. But
not at all. This was a great card.
And like, I don't know necessarily what was the match of the night, but Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre could easily have been match of the night here. The two of these guys were out for blood to begin with. It's no secret here. I am absolutely in love with the work that Drew McIntyre is doing. I like the work that Sami Zayn is doing, but his character is suspect at best. And you sheep that don't see it, you need to pay attention. Look at what he does. Just riffs on everybody he deals with, and Drew McIntyre gets it. That's why he kicked him in the face multiple times. Steve, give me some of your reactions for this match.
Again, this is one of those. So this and the World Heavyweight title match, the 3-way. I mean, was there a chance that this match was going to be bad? Realistically, like it was like they would have actually have tried to make this match bad in order to make it bad, because regardless of how we feel about his character, Sami Zayn is a phenomenal in-ring competitor.
And I gave him his flowers there too. I said that as I built it.
And McIntyre in the ring and out of the ring is doing the best work of his career right now. I see no way around this. So this match was great. I thought they had a decent amount of back and forth, but I like that they're kind of making McIntyre this new unstoppable force. Like he's not necessarily the psychopath, but I like this I don't care attitude that he has. I'm going to kick everyone in the face. I'm going to get mine. I like all of this.
Of all the crazy kick finisher moves, I will say I think I like the Claymore the best. Like having that man who's so big come flying at you with that boot. I think like in this match, you got two people who kind of use that as their finishers. Both, I mean, Sammy's haluva kick is definitely more protected than Drew's Claymore. But at the same time, I really like the way that he looks throwing that one out there. You're right. There's no way that this would have been a bad match, and like they both were on point. Like it's not necessarily being a bad match, but they performed to like their level of being able to perform here. I was talking to you about this earlier, Stephen. I'm convinced that WWE no longer subscribes to babyface versus heels. That is a thing of the past, even though Saturday Night Main Event is a thing of the past. I am convinced it's just there's two categories now, or maybe three, because I'll throw tweeners in there because you can be a little bit of both. But I think that you just have a group of people who tell you the truth, and the group of people who are snakes in the grass that have their own hidden agenda, and they will do it behind a nice big smile. And I think this and the main event are two exact examples of people who I'm convinced. There's one that everyone thinks is the bad guy because he's telling the truth and no one wants to hear the truth. And you have the other one who has his own agenda and he wants to be the center of attention and he's just feeding on the crowd. The sheeple will you. And then Sami Zayn is the perfect example of that because his whole holier than thou or whatever kind of shtick. It's not fooling anybody. I see right through it.
I mean, he stole El Generico's moveset.
Hey, shh, don't say moveset. You're not allowed to say that anymore. CM Punk doesn't like it. Shh.
So what do we say?
I don't know. But it's funny.
He stole. All right, I'll steal the Dusty line. He stole his referendum. Never said rep. I think that works, right? Because I stole it from Dusty.
Yeah, that's all. You can't talk smack on Dusty. That's probably for our next episode about CM Punk throwing shade at this event on the word moveset. You sound like a mark when you say moveset. I don't know what else you call it, but
yeah, right. Getting back to you talking about McIntyre's Claymore, though, I just wanted to touch on this. This is one of those where you get a really great finisher off of him with the Claymore, and very much in the same vein as another throwback, which they talk about quite a bit, which is Jake the Snake Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
This move came out because of an accident. The as the story goes, it was when he was part of the 3MB. And he had to wear those stupid tight leather pants. And when he went to throw like a big boot or something like that, like his pants were so tight that the other foot came up with it. Yeah. And he basically just hit it and like went back and watched the video and was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yes, I think I had heard that in the past, that this was a mistake, and then it turned into, the best moves are typically mistakes as you're going through. That's not true, but this is a happy accident. Really did enjoy this match a tremendous amount. Their feud, I believe, is going to continue. Drew McIntyre trying to take down the Bloodline and kind of throw caution to the wind. Like he typically does that, but I would really want to see them build on his character around the last year of being completely screwed. Like I would like him to not completely leave CM Punk alone. I do want to see him, Kevin Owens, and Seth Rollins to kind of connect a bit more. Like people, I hear people calling it the sword instead of the shield, and like building that faction. I wouldn't call it that, but
it's a claymore.
Yeah,
it's literally a sword.
I get it. I get it. But it's just too on the nose with the shield. But I do want to see that kind of circle around it. Like I don't think his beef with CM Punk should be over. That was such a heated rivalry for it to just end, kind of like how it is. And the fact that CM Punk's in with the Bloodline and Drew's targeting them. I think it's an interesting way to keep this going. The next match of the night, because each of these matches could be considered match of the night, was Liv Morgan versus Io Sky for the women's world title. And what a surprise this match was. These two, I'm not surprised that these two put on a fantastic match. First of all, I can't say enough on how impressed I constantly am on Io Sky. She might be the best pure wrestler in the women's division. I do obviously love Becky. I know she's not technically back, even though you got if you watch the end of this card, you got a really good package around Becky and then Charlotte, kind of like, I want to say, teasing their returns to a certain degree. And so I don't know what that meant, because I think they did it with Drew too before he came back, and like they kind of threw it at the end of a PLE.
I think so.
Kind of did these packages, so that's their way of just giving a nod, being like, "Hey, remember this person?" But and Rhea, obviously, I always gush over her in-ring abilities, but Io, in a very different way, is just such a phenomenal competitor. And Liv Morgan has elevated her game every single match. And it's not necessarily in situations like this in the past. I would have said it's really the Io that elevated Liv, and I don't think that's the case at all. I think that Liv has elevated her game every single match she's come through. And the fact, not to cut to the end, the fact that she got a clean victory over Io in this match, this is her most definitive win. It elevates her to the next echelon, in my opinion, even as world champion, because there's always something that got her to win that title. Always some kind of interference, something that was outside her or like it's a gimmick match. I know that she beat Becky in that battle royal to be the number one contender, but at the same time, it's a battle royal. That doesn't there's a little bit of a gimmick there that kind of pulls away you being an actual legitimate champion or a legitimate fighter. And this match, in my mind, propels her right into that, in that echelon of the top tier within the women's division.
I completely agree with everything that you've said. Io, I'm going to say this. I think she's transitioned. She is the best female Japanese wrestler to transition into the American style. Maybe ever. I'm sure someone, Legion, if obviously comment, let us know if you think I'm wrong with this, because I'm sure there is someone out there with someone who's going to be like, well, what about wrestler A or wrestler B? And that's great. They probably are great, but I think Io has transitioned very well into not just now not just an American style, but specifically the WWE style. She has a nice blend of all of the things she's done, whether it be from Japan or from when she was in Lucha Underground, to even once she got to NXT to now, it's a nice flow of what she has. And I agree. I think as far as I know Hound likes to use the term work rate, she might be the best female work rate wrestler that they have. Like she's on the main event scale, because that's the thing is you might be a great work rate wrestler, but realistically all we see is you lose and open the card. Io deserves to be in that women's world title picture all the time. And I could see that regardless of whoever wins it at the end of their tournament, Io being placed right in that IC title picture.
Where is that? I know it's Io. Is it? Are we down to the finals? Is it Io versus
for the IC title? No,
yeah,
we're still at the next at the top, or we're still missing at least one. I believe the one we are missing is going to be the match that Natty Neidhart is in. I think. Let me just pull this up because I literally just had it today.
That one happened on SmackDown, though we haven't reviewed that yet, so I don't want to talk about it here.
No, that match hasn't happened yet. There's there is
Natalia.
Natalia didn't wrestle yet.
She did.
She didn't. There's
on Raw.
I thought Zoe just did that.
Oh no. Okay. All right. You're right. I thought
we still have a 3-way match with Alba Fire, Kairi Sane, and Natalia. So that would leave, and as of now, we have Dakota Kai, Lyra Valkyria, and the winner of Zoe Stark, Raquel Rodriguez, and Kaden Carter in there. But since we have not reviewed that Raw, I will not go further into that.
Yeah.
We'll give spoilers, but not that far in advance.
Yeah. I thought I don't know why I thought Io was in this.
I don't know. I feel like the women's IC title finals are gonna be also on the first Raw on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where they're going with this.
That makes sense.
But I could see once they get out of that, I think Io might get thrown right into that picture. But Liv getting a clean win and a definitive win over Io, that's huge. And even the end of this match, as she's leaving, and they have Rhea come out, I thought they made a real statement here, because it's the first time Liv hasn't run from Rhea. And it almost seemed weird, because I don't know if there was a no contact clause or anything like that they had given Rhea. That's me not doing my due diligence, and Legion, I apologize for that.
Should be ashamed of yourself.
Sit in the penalty box and I feel shame. But it almost seemed weird that as Rhea was coming out, that like Raquel didn't try to protect Liv. But if there was some type of clause where no one was allowed to touch, then that makes a little bit more sense. And them having the stare down really worked here. It was the first time, and I think that's the other thing that got elevated from this match is Liv looking like she could confidently hang in the ring with Rhea Ripley now.
Yeah, that is exactly what I think happened here, is that like now she's a legitimate threat to retain. Again, Rhea carries Io out of the ring at the end of this one as well, which I thought was interesting. They have a fun little dynamic, and I actually would love to see the two of those two become like tag team partners and do like a little tag team title run in the nearish future, because I feel like that's kind of what they're building towards, potentially a Damage Control falling apart and Io teaming with Rhea for a little bit, because that'd be a fun tag team. Like the two of them, they could do some cool stuff together. And at this point in time, I'm looking forward to Liv Rhea, but at the same time, if those video packages are to be believed and give indicators that Charlotte and Becky are on their way back, this women's division is about to get a lot better. and I don't know how all these people can fit in that world title picture. Io's a good balance right now between serious competitor and the ability to elevate someone with a win, like we're kind of gushing over right now, because we easily could have seen Io being the champion. She's not relegated to you're just going to put over talent now, but when she needs to do it, she does a really good job, and anyone who beats Io immediately gets legitimized.
Also, they said it on SmackDown, and I kind of like the fact that they alluded to this now. Is so one of the things that they've always said about Bayley, and I'm not sure if there's any. It might have been so Bayley, Rhea, and Charlotte, and and Becky now too. It's like those four are the ones that they've referred to as hitting the Grand Slam of the women's division. So basically what that means is they were NXT champions, they won the Women's Royal Rumble, and they've held both of each show's women's world title. And I like that Corey Graves has brought up that now that there is a women's US title and a women's IC title, that's not your Grand Slam anymore. Like you haven't hit the Grand Slam, and you have to, like, there's going to be other titles now that you have to win. Oh, yeah, and the women's tag team title, you have to be included in that now too, because that's why Bayley has it. Is she won the women's tag team titles.
Yeah, it's funny because like winning the Royal Rumble being part of the Grand Slam is kind of funny, because that's not ever really considered. It's all about titles.
So it's interesting to see, and I've heard, again, there's a lot of rumors going out there, and we are sifting through what is fake news and what's not fake news.
It's all fake news.
But part of what they've said is that Charlotte is going to be coming back with a slightly different, possibly edgier gimmick. Not quite, like, still standing on the fact that she's the queen of the division, but like it might be a little bit more grounded than what her old stuff was. So I'm interested to see what she does. Maybe being out for as long as she was has kind of relit the fire under her too, because as good as her stuff was, even up until she got hurt, there were a lot of times where it felt like Charlotte was maybe going through the motions.
Mm-hmm. We talked about that.
I'm excited to see her come back and get injected into this division.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit with Rhea versus Charlotte match, I think, a lot, because it seemed like she was kind of had one foot out the door. I remember that, what feels like forever ago. Moving on to the next match, what is Damian Priest versus Finn Balor versus the Ring General Gunther for the World Heavyweight title. I appreciated the lack of Jamokin in this. They were kind of moving at paces, and like when there was a bit of Jamokin, it made a lot of sense. What did you think about this one, Steven?
I agree. Not as much Jamokin. I feel like we have established that if you are hit with a move that is devastating enough to take you out of the match, it is no longer considered Jamokin.
No, I mean, like, you get crushed on the outside with a big power bomb on the steps. Yeah,
you should stay out there.
Hang out for a minute.
Yeah,
catch your breath.
Or even that recourse clothesline that Priest does, that bounce off clothesline that he does when he hits both of them with it. You hit a move like that and you want to, maybe roll out and catch a breath.
Mm-hmm.
I understand you catching a beat off of that. It's 250 pounds that just ran through you, especially for a dude like Balor, who's not the biggest dude in the world.
Mm-hmm.
This has nothing to do with the match per se. I would like Finn to maybe ditch a little bit of the Judgment Day gear. I don't know if I like the sweatpants look or whatever he wears out there. I I don't know why the Jordans or whatever he wears just don't work for me, and I definitely hate the mask. I hate the hood over his head when he's coming out. But I don't know. I think I'd even be okay if he was just wearing like long tights that were different. I just don't like the baggy pants on him. Like he's too shredded and too just chiseled, and it's not his normal gimmick to wear like that. And I get that that's kind of the point, but like, I don't know. It's just it does it for the longest time. It hasn't hit with me, and if I have to keep seeing the blinding hood that's on him, I don't know. It just doesn't hit. The match itself, amazing. This match, as far as everything else goes, this match was amazing. This is another one, like I said, like Sammy and Drew. I don't see a world where these three guys were going to put on a bad match.
My favorite was the tail of the tape that they did going into this.
I do love the tail of the tape.
Where it's Gunther, monster. Damian Priest, monster. Finn Balor, itty bitty baby.
But I love the way that McAfee talks about it.
Sure.
Because he's like, you got Gunther. Like, he says it just like that. He's like, you got Gunther, 6'5", 250, monster. Damian Priest, 6'5", also 250, monster. And then you got Finn Balor, 6% body fat. Jesus Christ, there's nothing to grab onto. Like, he sold it well.
He sure did. This was great. I always want to call out Gunther for being a safe wrestler. It looked like Damian. I wouldn't consider this a botch, but Damian always has one little thing happen to him in every one of these bigger matches. But when Gunther picked him up for the powerbomb on the outside, it looks like his feet may have clipped the steps, and it caused Gunther to have to muscle him up. And before he like spiked him on his head, he was able to muscle him up and actually hit him with a nice power bomb on the outside of those steps. And I think that was a really good spot. I also really liked in this match of Damian powering out of the sleeper hold. Something that has got him before, and now him kind of overcoming that move. I know he didn't win this match, which I get, and Finn took the pin, but that was a good way to kind of show some strength on his part there.
Yeah, I really liked everything about this match. Gunther, is he getting better? I think he's actually getting better.
I think they're all getting better. And like, that's the thing. Like Damian's getting better every time he's out there. Gunther's getting better every time he's out there. Finn's been great. So I really don't see, like, I think that's what it is. Like, they're collectively elevating each other. The one thing I wanted here that I didn't get was Finn and Priest falling into old habits as a tag team. Cause they've been so, like feuding so hard that in the ring together with somebody else the first time, I would have loved that to like muscle memory to kick in with the two of them to kind of double team Gunther and then realize what was happening and then break out of it like on purpose. I think that would have been a really cool story clip in this match, and it would have made the match better. Though this match is fantastic, you don't always need that. Just one of those things that I was thinking about when I was watching the match. I was like, oh, come on, just do the things that you do together.
Do it, like without thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's just muscle memory. It's like, oh, we would do these things. And like, it was almost the opposite. Like, that's what I think one of the best parts of this match was. Every time someone was going for something, the other guy would stop them. And I feel like that it was all about cutoffs in this match. It was constantly cutoffs here and there and there. A lot of really good high spots. And this match was on point. Match of the night. 3 matches of the night.
3 matches of the night. So many matches of the night. We talked a little bit before this on if we would have gotten the whole card right if we did pick it. And I think we both said like some of this stuff would have, it might have gotten us, because even going into this show, we said there's a real good chance we could see like Gunther losing the title here just to set up because of the transfer window and stuff like that. And that's the only reason why I think we could see it happening.
Yeah, I feel like every single one of these matches could go either way. And
Some
like
of them I wish we did.
at least three of them, uh, at least three of them, it really could. And two of them were like, yeah, Drew's probably going to win this. But there was a chance Sammy comes out on top, particularly if there's outside interference on accident. Like, let's say Jimmy and Jey Uso come down for some reason, or someone else gets involved in this. But again, there wasn't any schmauzes in it, and I really dug that in this card. It deserved it. Moving on to the U.S. title, finals of Mishin versus Chelsea Green. This is one that we knew what was going to happen. I mean, I feel like this one also, I don't think was the match of the night, but was really, really good. I feel like the other ones, but this was on a stacked card, the worst match of the night, but still really, really good. It's just really hard to keep up with the caliber that we've been working with so far. I absolutely love Chelsea's striker gear. Is that can I call it that with instead of Matt Cardona gear? Strider, right? Zack Ryder. Sorry, time of wrestling that I wasn't paying attention. Zack Ryder gear, Strider. That was close. That was in the ballpark. I really, really dug that. Instead of calling it Matt Cardona gear, her wearing little pictures of herself everywhere was just so on brand. Loved before we get into the match here, loved the way this match came to fruition. Like the fact that Chelsea went clean over on Bayley and Mishin went clean over on Tiffany going into this match elevated this match immediately. Like those are two established stars that in any other really match, they probably go over on both these people. I mean, Chelsea's been the queen of the jobbers recently. Until honestly, I think everyone really stood up and took notice at Money in the Bank with her. Like
I agree.
She came out there
I totally agree with
she
that.
did some like real work. Everyone like I mean, I know me personally was really over on her because no one in wrestling, literally no one in wrestling, does more with less time. She gets over in seconds when Roman takes a 45-minute stroll to the ring just to get his entrance down. She has 35 seconds and gets way over in that time frame. And I like that this one ended in a clean fashion. What are your thoughts here, Steven?
So I agree with you. This was not the best match of the night because the other four matches were so good.
Yeah, like it's like
saying that this is the worst match of the night isn't insulting to this match because it was better than mostly almost any other match that you could have probably seen. It's just on this card with Sammy and Drew, with Liv and Io, with the three-way, with Cody versus Kevin. It's not an insult to say that this is the worst match on the card. That's just where it sat with all of the other greatness that was going on. And this match offered us something that the other matches didn't, I guess you could say. And this was a bit of a fun match. This was, again, Chelsea utilizing every second that she has. And her and Michin went out there and they did work. This is not, like we said, this is not a bad match by any means. Both these women came into this match off of clean wins, off of two very established competitors at this point between Tiffany Stratton and Bayley. And I know we talked a little bit about before. The end of this match, the actual finish, yes. I'm all about it. I wanted to let you have this one though.
So I was thinking about it midway through because when Chelsea sets up the Unprettier, it takes so long. And the thing with finisher moves is I think it has to be something where where it can be done on a quicker basis. It doesn't have to be an RKO where it's hit out of nowhere. That's in its own right a special thing there. But like, if you look at most finisher moves, the kicks that we were talking about earlier with the haluva kick and the claymore, sweet chin music, the stunner, the rock bottom, the the crossroads, all of these, the Superman punch and spear, like whatever it happens to be, it can be hit like that, just out of nowhere. Whereas in the Unprettier, takes a decent amount of time to turn somebody around and get them to that sit down spot. And so while I was watching this match, I was like, if I was Chelsea's manager, I would tell her it's time to get rid of that. Because it just takes too long to hit, and it puts you at a disadvantage to need that much time to hit a move to that caliber. And then lo and behold, does she flip over somebody from the top rope and hits the Unprettier out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess when you're wrong, you're wrong.
She kind of told you to shut up and watch. It was very Will Ospreay.
It's not necessarily to the same degree, because you can't do that every single time. And like, the point still stands that she could use a finisher move that could be hit a little bit more in the moment to make her a more realistic threat. At the same time, having those thoughts and her doing it in that right moment was fantastic. I like this match a lot. I think that Mishin hitting, I don't know, what's Mishin's official move called? The foot to the face?
The eat the feet, I think it is, or something like that.
Feet. Was she like slightly misses that move, launches Chelsea across the ring, so she can get her foot on the ropes in that moment in time. I thought was a really good spot. Whereas in, like, it didn't fully knock her out because she didn't quite hit it perfectly in that moment in time.
And we get history made. Very first women's United States champion.
It's so funny on the prestige that they gave Chelsea here. Like, the first ever men's U.S. champion was Harley Race. Is that like,
that's
what company?
Well, they said in 1978, so it would have been for the NWA. I mean, technically, the WWE US title is still just a continuation of the WCW US title. So,
which wasn't that just the NWA the US title?
Which was the NWA US title. So it's all still the same US title technically.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the world heavyweight title where there's been stops and goes to it.
Yeah, like, there's interesting when they merge and bring titles back. Like, the European title, did they merge that with the US title, or did they just discontinue that?
The European title got merged with the IC title at one point.
Oh, really? That's where it went.
Yeah, they were eliminating all the mid-card titles at one point.
Yeah.
And including the IC title. They got rid of the IC title for a little bit, and they realized that wasn't really an option of what they could do. So they brought it back. But there was a little while where they merged the US title and the IC title together. And then that was during that terrible invasion storyline. And they eventually realized, like, oh, well, with two shows and we're going to be doing two champions, we should probably have mid-cards titles on both. And that was when they had reintroduced the US title. But it's still basically the same thing at this point. And I kind of even like that original US title. I love this version of the US title. And I actually really like, the thing about the women's titles that I like is I like the white straps on them. I really like that. I think it looks super cool.
Yeah, it goes really well. It makes them pop. It makes them different. I still stand behind that. I wish this was a different title. Like, I wish the title was different of the title. That place. Like what they call it. Because it just makes it. I get that the Women's World Championships are the same thing technically as well, but I would like a little bit more creative on what these titles were at the end of the day.
Women's European Championship.
Yeah, like the European title would have been nice to add this to it, or what have you. I do want to see Dominic Mysterio challenge for the U.S. title, though, because I think that'd be great. Make it the intergender championship. Equal rights. Let's get it.
Justice for Dom.
Yeah, justice for Dom. Just Dom. Like no one else works in that scenario. It's just Dom going full Kaufman on everybody.
Full Kaufman.
And then so to round out Saturday night's main event, we had Kevin Owens, the master of truth, outside of our truth, obviously, versus the champion, Cody Rhodes. And a fantastic match. Like, this match was really, really good.
So, Showtime, I sent the question to you guys in our group chat originally, and it was when Triple H was offering the nostalgia piece to Cody. Obviously, the joke was the jokes and the memes were, it's the Stardust costume, which that would have been hilarious. Hilarious. But I had said this, and I'm going to ask your opinion. If they had done it the other way that I had offered, which was the Winged Eagle seemed like the obvious way to go with this, is what they were going to do. But if they had let Cody come down with the title that Dusty was denied, do you think that would have popped too? Like, I think it would have taken a little bit more selling, or on the commentators' parts, to be like, oh my God, that's the belt that Dusty held in Madison Square Garden, but never got a chance to leave with. But me personally, as what I consider a wrestling historian, I think it would have given me the warm tinkles inside.
Yeah, I think it's too deep of a cut for this more broad audience, to be honest with you. Sure, people who are really into it would definitely have popped, and that would have been awesome. But at the same time, I don't think it would have had the same effect across the board.
Now then, Showtime, this Winged Eagle title is a lot of people's favorites. I believe yours is the big gold, right?
Big gold is by far the best world title belt. I mean, come on, Ric Flair with that thing on. He made Goldberg look good. The big gold belt is by far, in my opinion, the best looking title. The Winged Eagle is a fantastic belt. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think I think the gap is vast.
Now there's a little bit of fuzziness here as far as how they do it, because it was Saturday night's main event that led way to the Winged Eagle originally, because that was where Hogan has the dual refs and Andre gets the cheap win and is about to give the title to DiBiase. And I forget directly whether or not they had already started the Winged Eagle as a title yet, but it definitely leads into WrestleMania 4, which is the first real shot that we get to see of the Winged Eagle belt, which I always hold in a special regard because I was there. And the other side of this is, one of my favorite parts of this was not just the Winged Eagle, but also the fact that Jesse Ventura was there, which was such a big part of WrestleMania 4. And I do love Ventura commentary. You've said this, that he wasn't really much of, he doesn't necessarily say heel stuff. A lot of it is him saying stuff that we're kind of thinking.
Just honestly, like, how about Cody cheating to win this match?
Cody cheats to win this match. I will say I dig the Cody Dusty digs that Ventura gets in there. I didn't think that he was Dusty's kid. Cody's got those washboard abs. Only contest Dusty could win was most abs. Still one of my favorite lines. But Cody does cheat to win this, and he does it more than once. Again, all of a sudden we're gonna muddy the water a little bit with the rules. Charles Robinson, a senior referee, making the count from the outside of the ring.
It's a conspiracy.
Kevin was right. Hashtag Kevin's right. Hashtag Kevin's right.
First of all, Kevin beats him in this match. He hits him with the stunner. and pins him for like an 8 count. When the referee finally comes down, he then kicks out miraculously. And then, so this match overall was fantastic. I like how I think it's funny how Cody's always hurt. Like he always does the one thing to make sure that he's hurt for that next match. Be it, like both of these matches against Kevin, his knee was hurt the night before or whatever. Chad Gable worked over his ankle to make sure that there was a little bit of vulnerability to Cody for Kevin to attack, and he does.
Was not afraid to pull the trigger on this one. I would not have minded. I would not mind Kevin Owens having won this match.
Yeah.
I am a big believer that whether he wants it or not, that the WWE should just put a singles title on him finally, because he deserves it and he's doing such phenomenal work right now. I like the attack after the show goes off the air.
This is great. Package pile driver.
Package pile driver.
Picking up the
steals the Winged Eagle title. Triple H gets in his face and tries to take it back.
Steps on Cody with the belt on his neck that he just broke or whatever. There's a lot of speculation that the pushing and shoving between Triple H and Kevin Owens is going to lead to a match. Do you think that's going to happen?
No, I don't. I don't think Triple H needs to risk it. I don't know. I he's got too much. He's a dude who had a heart condition, man. I don't. And I get it. There's got to be some ego in there, but he's got the entirety of WWE is riding on Triple H right now.
There's no way in my mind that they have a match unless he is super medically cleared by some doctor, which I still wouldn't believe. But that's the only way that this makes sense. I think that he's retired for good. He went out there and pushed Kevin Owens around to be able to further this storyline.
I think if anything, if they're gonna further it at all, it'll be Randy that comes back and fights for Triple H.
Yeah, I can see that.
That I could see, but I don't see H getting this match. Anyone who's coming up with a rumor that Triple H is wrestling again, I don't see that happening. And when you said some doctor, it's not just some doctor, like all the doctors would have to approve it. This is not a situation where, I can get some sawbones to approve me to go work my indie match. No, he's the head of creative for the biggest wrestling promotion in the world and part of a $22 billion industry or company. They're not just going to let you go do this.
I get that, but he also runs creative and can do whatever he wants at the same time.
Mostly.
But I don't think that he's going to get in the ring again in that capacity. So,
I don't. But I love this match. I loved everything about this match. And again, that goes along. I feel like we've said this 5 matches in a row now. I love this match. I love this card. This is
the multiple ref bumps were great because there wasn't shenanigans before this. If this card started out with shenanigans and it was constantly that way, the ref bumps would have been out of place and bad. Instead, we got the right amount of ref bumps in the main event, saved for that. It was like they were talking to each other. I didn't see it like, I feel like every card like this that I've seen recently, there's like a match, like there's like a move of the night. I think we talked about that in the past, where all of a sudden TNA will do the cutter in every single match, or they'll do the revert, like the Death Rana. Is that what they call it nowadays?
The Dragon Rana, the Poison Rana.
Poison Rana, that's right.
Poison Rana, where it's the reverse Hurricane Rana.
I feel like that's kind of been a thing, and I didn't notice that here at all.
No, and again, I like you said, this was just everything was clean on this. I know there's been a little bit of talk about this card was a little too predictable. I don't see how there was any way this card wasn't going to be predictable, though. Like you said, this was the whole point of this was to get the casual fan back. And in order to get the casual fan back, like, you need to, like, kind of have the card like this. Like, you need the guys who are going to watch this and be like, oh wow, like Dusty Rhodes Kid is the world champion. I like that.
I get that. But at the same time, there was more to be had.
What do we have anything else for this one? I got it was that was the main event.
Long Island is a special breed. If you heard at the end there about Cody after the package pile driver, you deserved it.
I never thought I'd appreciate Long Island.
They were a little, like, they're typically a little too heelish for me, and then, you know, they're kind of right here. So I just thought we could end it on that with the crowd. I don't want to say the crowd's turning on Cody, but Kevin Owens is doing such a good job right now that he's easy to cheer for in this vein.
I really think they're gonna. I know you guys think it's gonna be way further down the line.
It's too early.
I agree, but I think the fans are gonna start giving us no choice but to boo Cody. I think the fans are gonna turn this.
They should.
I think it's gonna be organic, and it's gonna be quicker than what the plan is for. I could see the plan being well after WrestleMania, maybe even towards the next Rumble, and the fans are going to be like, "No, we're so tired of this guy. Stop politicking."
I get where you're coming from. I think he needs more time to breathe in this front, but before they turn on him. But we'll see kind of where it goes down, and when they fully turn on him. Long Island turning on you is nothing. They would turn on anybody for any given moment. Just
facts. By the way, Showtime, did you see the real quick before we get off of Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes? Did you see the Kevin Owens podcast interview where they asked him why he doesn't like Cody Rhodes so much?
Yes, I did see that.
Where it was like he talks about me driving around in a Lamborghini, and he literally owns a tour bus and gets driven around. He had a tracksuit made up and had them stitch on QB so that we can all know that he's the quarterback.
No one's calling him that. Just himself.
Just him. And then that's not his natural hair color. And there's all these parents that are like dressing their kids up like Cody. That's an unhealthy lifestyle. I was like, this is so good.
It was so good. He was right. Everything he said is right. Kevin was right.
Kevin is right. Kevin isn't just was right. He is right.
We should make a t-shirt that says Kevin is right. WRYGHT. See if you'll wear it. You might. With sleeves off. It'd be good. So that was Saturday night's main event. The nostalgia you wanted. The matches that we all wanted. This was a fantastic card. Thank you all again for coming here. Do us a favor. Tell us where we were right. Tell us where we were wrong. I don't think we were too hard on anybody today. Tell us where we were too soft on people. That I fully would appreciate. Again, I can't echo enough how much I enjoyed this card. I wish every PLE was exactly this type of 5-match, 2 hours, in and out, no wasted time, just pure wrestling. It was fantastic. Steven, do you have any ending notes on this card in general?
No, I agree with you. I think this is the card. I think I would like to see some PLEs that are more like this if we're going to do 5 and 6 match PLEs. Actually, you know what? The one thing I did like, and I know I talked about the old school entranceway. I think one of the reasons why I like the old school entranceway is the old school wrestling guy in me enjoys the fact that it lets you pack in more fans into the building.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that. I was having that conversation with someone the other day that, I get the idea of making things bigger and better and it looks cooler, but you know what looks really cool too? Like making history by setting a new indoor attendance record or something like that. Like, I like stuff like that.
100% right. Fans, tell us what you, Legionnaires, tell us what you liked, what you didn't like at this card. Like and subscribe. It really does help out with the algorithm. We've been growing every single week. We've surpassed 150 subscribers, which is fantastic. We really appreciate all your support, and it's part of the reason why we do this every week. Please let us know. Engage in the bottom. We will make sure that we respond back. And Steven?
As always, guys, remember, tuck your chin when you bump.